Hey guys, welcome back to KY Coins and Collectibles. And on this episode, I want to talk about some of the things I collect and why some things I collect and other things I try to avoid. And as you can see here in front of us, I've kind of got an assortment of items. Uh, and in every collection I buy, there's always a few items in it, and I'm like, why did that person even have that in that collection? But everybody collects different for different reasons, so you can't really judge them all the same way. So I kind of wanted to just give you a short video here. Items I looked for and I think are the best investment and things I really enjoy as for the hobby. So I coin collect for the hobby and for the investment. I love collecting key dates and mint state items and items that have a good resale value and will most likely go up in the coming 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You know, it's a good way to store wealth, kind of like a savings account. You're not going to get a big return on it, but you know your money's going to be there, your investment will be the same, and it will appreciate. This is better than a savings account is what I'm getting at. I think I would rather buy gold and silver, especially better items, than just putting my money, like having cash or putting it in a savings account. Unless, I mean, you need cash as well. Like you need to have a savings account with an emergency fund. I mean, 6 months worth. I do believe you need to do that. But other than that, I'd like to keep my money invested somehow that will bring a better return than 1 or 2, 3% at most. And this is an assortment of stuff. This ain't all of it, but this is a few different ways I can show you what I do. I do like key dates. I like gold, and I know gold is very expensive, and not everybody can afford it. Of course, I mean, I've only got a few pieces, and I have been very lucky to get those. I've got good deals on them. I've traded around. I've traded a bunch of silver, and I've got lucky. I've bought big collections, and they've had gold in them, and I've got them for good deals. So gold's always good. I like more numismatic stuff than bullion or just trying to stack silver. So I have more numismatic items of value than I do, of course, silver. Like I'm not a big silver stacker. But to me, the numismatic has multiple different values attached to it. You have the silver value, of course, and you have a numismatic value. You have a coin that has a limited mintage on it. I mean, it's very limited. They've only made a few that year. They have an historical value. So that's one reason I really like to collect coins and numismatic stuff. But I do have my eagles. Like I do have a couple tubes of silver eagles, but I've not gone out and bought these. I have bought collections off other dealers and collectors and kids kids that their grandparents have collected, and I've bought their collections, and a lot of them will have tubes of silver eagles in them, and you can tell. I've noticed a lot of the people I've bought collections off of, their grandparents have been sitting at home and they'll see a commercial for buy silver now. You know how it goes. They'll buy silver and these silver eagles, and it's the way to wealth. So I've noticed a lot of older people have silver eagles, and they'll have just a handful of coins. So I have noticed that in some of my collections I've bought, unless it's off of a guy or a lady that has been a coin collector, and they collect silver dollars and piece dollars and so forth. So that's some of the stuff I run into. Now, like, back to what I buy and what I do and the hobby. I really love the hobby of it. And growing up is where I really got into it. I always loved looking through pennies. I think for me, a lot of people I talk to, they have a jar of wheat pennies. They love picking them up, and that's a form of collecting. That's a numismatic collection, a coin. People will pick out wheat pennies, and I find, again, in every collection I get, you will come across a bag of wheat pennies. And I've not gone through this bag, and this, I just wanted to show you this bag of wheat pennies I've got. I am going to get a lot of joy out of looking through this bag of wheat pennies, because I can see some steel pennies in there, some nicer, brighter ones, some older ones, some slick ones, and you may find an Indian head in there. You never know, but to me, that's the joy of it. You get to look and search, pilfer through it, as they say, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, you can sit around, go through them, look for key dates, varieties. Might find a 1909 in there, or a 1955 double die. But that's a lot of fun to me. And that thing is full of wheat pennies. So I may save that for another video and just do a coin search on that. And I still do that. Occasionally I will buy a box or two or a roll at the bank and go through them and just look for varieties. Mostly older stuff. I don't really look for the newer stuff as much, like the close and wide AM. I will set those to the side every now and then and look through them and try to find them, but they're hard to find. I know you can. I mean, you can find them, but they're rare. So this is one aspect of it that I enjoy, is just the search. And when I buy a new collection, they will, the guy I'm buying the coins off of, they'll basically have it in a box or a couple boxes, and I'll look through it, get a price together, quick price, and I won't really go through it. Like, I'll go through it enough to give him an idea of where I want to be at on the price, and they'll tell me if, like, we're close. So I'll go through it a little better, give them a better a price, and because I don't believe in cheating people, and it's so easy to do. I mean, it is, and there's two different sides. There is. It's easy because Joey, the grandson, had got Papa Wayne's coin collection, and he don't really know nothing about it. He's got a box of coins here. They're silver, and they're showing me, which they entrust me to be the coin expert or to know a little more about it. And I don't want to come back and say, yeah, you've got $100 there, when I know they've got $3,000 worth of stuff. They've got key dates in there, and that's another thing. You can be looking at Morgans, and you can look at 3 different Morgans, and you can have 3 different values, like way off. And I'll give you an example here. Like, you in this box, this is just an example. This box, this guy will have a 1921 and a 1893, and they'll just be two loose silver dollars in there, and you can be like, yeah, they're about $20-$25 is what I'm paying. Well, I've really ripped the guy off, because I know that's a key date. It's very expensive. And it don't have to be a 1893S. It can be an even better date, like a 1879S or 1903, like just a better date. Like a lot of the collections will have 1921s in it. I mean, I'll come across collections with 1904 and lower in them, and a lot of times they're slick. They'll actually, the 1921s will look like this, or all the other earlier key dates will look like that. So it's easy to rip people off, because I could tell the guy, oh, you've got $1,000 in there, and it can be a $6,000 collection, or it can increase dramatically depending on what they've got. They could have a small box like this, and I can be like, oh, you've got $1,000 worth of stuff there, when I've probably got $8,000 worth of stuff here. It's that easy. So be careful when you're selling, when you're buying. Do people right, and they'll tell other people. I mean, they'll say so and so buys coins, he'll buy yours. He gave me a good deal. And then the other side, I told you there's kind of two sides. I'll have people that'll come to me wanting to sell their handful of coins, and they've looked on eBay, and they've found a 1921, and this just happened the other day. And I know coin shops and coin dealers have a big problem with this. This guy come in and he said, oh, I've got this. It was actually a 1922 piece dollar, and he was wanting $100 for it, and it was pretty wore. It barely had any luster on it, and he was wanting $100 just for the piece dollar. It was a common high mintage 1922, and I was like, that's way too high. I was like, where'd you come up with that price? He said, well, that's what they're selling for on eBay. And so you have a lot of people outside of the hobby don't understand. And the same guy had a couple Mercury dimes, a V nickel, a Benji, and that piece dollar, and he was wanting a few $100s for just a handful of money. And I was like, you're way off. We're way off. And they get they get a little offensive, and because they may have bought it. If he's trying to sell it to me for $100, he may have bought that coin for $70-$80, and he's trying to make $10, $15, $20. And I understand that side of it, but he needs to do you need to do your research, figure out what you got, what they're selling for. Because if you've been to any coin show or dealt with coins at all, you can go in and buy a handful of nice coins for $50 to $100, and I'm nice coins, and go to a coin show. People think this stuff is rare, and some items are, but I mean, here's like 21 silver dollars, Morgans. And a lot of the people I've dealt with, like, just they don't have big collections or ever really seen them. They see one or two silver dollars and they think they're rare. This was my great grandpa's, and he's had it for 100 years, and he has, but that don't mean it's worth $100. I mean, it's a dollar. It's a silver dollar. It's got its melt value, and then it's got a numismatic value attached to it as well. But it's not going to be, unless they're key dates in good shape, they're not astronomical prices like people think they are. And when you look up something, If you look up any coin, you can find a $10,000 coin of that one. I mean, so I try to educate people on that, and people get mad, but it's okay. I'm not going to take on a coin that's worth less than what I pay for it. I mean, that guy, it's his fault. I don't want to be mean, but you should have done your research if you bought it above what it was worth. So I'm not going to take on your burden of you've paid too much for it, and I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, I'll help you out. I mean, if I wanted to help the guy out, I would, but I'm not going to assume his problems. So that's just kind of a side note on buying and selling. So that's what I do. I buy stuff for the hobby. I'll search my wheat pennies. That brings me a lot of joy. Now, do I think I'm going to find $100 penny in there? No, that's one in a billion. So I might find some nice 55s, their 31s are good. The teens, you can find 1919 wheat pennies all day long. But it's going to be fun looking through. I might find something clipped or the wrong back on it, or just some crazy variety. And I found stuff like that before, clipped and lamination error, stuff like that, and that's neat, and I put it back to the side. So that's fun, and that's the hobby side of it. And now, I also have an investment side and a numismatic value side that I like as well with my collection. So I showed you like key dates, mintages, low mintages. Key dates, low mintages, them are always good because they're never making any more of them. I try to buy every one of them I can. And that's like your 1877 Indian head, your key date Morgans, your 21 piece dollars. I love 1921 piece dollars, even if they've got problems or damage, because somebody's going to need that for their collection, and there's not many out there compared to other dates. And if you've got better key or semi-key dates, I believe in getting them graded or getting them at least in some type of authentication. Annex is good for your lower value ones. So I do like that. And speaking on having stuff graded and having it authenticated, I don't really believe in having common silver eagles graded. I think it's just a waste. I know there are better dates of the silver eagles, like the 86 and 95s, and there's a couple other just a little better years. But to get this holder, and this was an early release, and it just says gem uncirculated. They don't have a grade. This probably cost $25 to $30 to have encapsulated, to have graded, authenticated, and the coin's only worth $27. So do you think I can get $55, $60 out of this? I don't. I wouldn't pay $60 for this. I've got a whole roll of them here, brand new, unopened, that I'd rather buy just a whole uncirculated roll than these. These are just, a lot of people like them, and I had bought this off of an estate from an older gentleman, and they had ordered these offline or off TV, like QVC style, and they just sitting around, and this old gentleman was sold on the item, and he ordered probably 100 of these, and I don't know what he paid, but I'm sure it was over $50, $60, $70 for this. So it's not really a good investment. I love Silver Eagles, and I do invest in them as I get them. I think it's a good, you've got 20 Silver Eagles in there, and you can get at least $25, $27 a piece, or if you might get 30 a piece. I know that's what they're selling for, and they normally do. I've never had any problems selling Silver Eagles. So I do keep some around as they come in, but I'm not going out and getting my Silver Eagles graded. It's not worth it. And I don't recommend people doing it. I just think it's a waste. You can invest your money, the $25 that you're spending to getting Eagles graded, you can invest it somewhere else. So I do like key date stuff and low mintage items graded. I also believe in these OGSA holders, especially the Morgan Carson Cities. These are really nice. I do believe these will have a higher value on them in the near future. I believe values on these will go up dramatically when they get a little older, just like the older PCGS holders, like the Radlers they call them. A lot of people like older vintage historical items like this holder. I think this holder will increase the value of this coin as time goes on, and I don't believe in busting them out. I think this, the way it is, will have a good premium on it in the near future. So I do have a few 4 or 5 GSAs, and I try to buy them if I can get them at good prices. I will pick up all of them that I can. So I do like these. I think they're a good investment. And I think in the next 5-10 years, prices will really go up on these GSAs. So keep them in good shape. This one has a crack in it, but it's still, it's hard to keep something this old from cracking, but I think these are good investments. And I do recommend people buying GSAs. So the next thing, this is kind of, I don't really believe are good investments. These little plastic cases that were basically sold, I don't even know, like certain places you can go that will have one little coin in it, and they'll have this nice little they're trying to sell you on the display and not the coin. The coin's been cleaned. It's a common year, and it gives a little write-up about the mint, which I love the information and the history it tells, but they try to sell these things for $25, $30, $40, and that's way too much. And I think when these things were new, that's about what they were when they were new, and they were trying to sell them. So beware of these. These are good presents to give people, I think, and that's about it. To new collectors, or I think these are, depending on what coin you have in there, these are just $4, $5, $10 items at most. And like I said, it depends on the coin. I'm not trying to give the coin away. This one's got 5 Indian heads in it, and they're all common dates. This one don't even tell anything. It just 1994 is when they made this one, the Wild West coin collection. So I don't know how Wild West it was back in, I guess it's showing for the Indian heads, which they do go back. So, but it's really cool. And they're dirt, like the Indian heads are dirty. Like they actually have like dirt and stuff around them. Like they're not really nice coins. You can't read the Liberty in any of the headdresses. So that's a good gift. I just don't see these as collectibles, or there's not really a place in my collection for stuff like that. I think they're good gifts if you're wanting to try to get people to coin collect, or just want to give them a little. I mean, they could break them out and sell them, I guess. But in this one, the AACGS, American Alliance Coin Grading Service, and I've got a few of these, and it's another third-party grading company. It's got a really nice, it's almost the size of a GSA, and it actually is. And that's scary right there. So, same size as the GSA. So, never noticed that. But it's saying it's a proof 67, which it is a proof. But it's a silver 1964 Roosevelt dime. Really not a lot of value there to it. But I'm sure when this come out and somebody bought it, they paid way too much for it. Way too much. So I just don't see these being, if you're trying to break that out and put it in a collection, it's going to be worth whatever you want to pay for it, but I don't think it's a good investment. So just trying to show you this, and you may like it, that's fine. Everybody's different, but to me, it don't really have a space in my collection. Moving on real quick. In my collection, I do have a lot of 90% Kennedys. I'd get a lot of 64 Kennedys, a lot. Every collection I buy, there's always a handful. And they are 90%. And I do stack them. I have a set of Kennedys. And what I do, I try to put sets together of different coins, because I like the numismatic value. So I will put together a full set of $50 and pennies, cents. I do put sets together, and as you've seen my Morgans, I love my Morgans, and that's the main thing I focus on. But I do have other stuff, and with my 90%, I do collect 40% Kennedys, and it's just 40% silver instead of 90% silver. I don't know if I'll be able to get one out. And the 40% silver Kennedys are 65 through 70. And you can tell if you're coin roll hunting, you pretty much know what they look like on the side. I do collect those because, again, I get a lot of those in different collections. Everybody always has 40% Kennedys and 90% Kennedys. And out of the Kennedys, the one I really like best is the 70, not the 1970S, and those 70s are a lot harder to find. So if you come across the 1970 Kennedys, them have a good little premium on them. Moving on, I do have silver rounds in my collection, and they come in with other collections I buy. They're easy to sell. I try to really just move them, especially if they're just generic rounds. And the same with silver bars. I do have a few silver bars. I try to keep 1 ounce, 5 ounces, and 10 ounces. That's about as big as I go. But I've got just a handful of each. I keep those, and I try to sell excess when I get in. And the same for the rounds. I'll keep my silver eagles, and I'll just keep a few tubes of these, and then I'll sell all my rounds, because I don't really get attached to these rounds, and they just sell easy. I mean, $25, they sell pretty fast. I already know I collect my Morgans. I love Morgans. These are all 21s. They sell really easy. You can always sell a Morgan dollar pretty easy. So that's one of my main thing. And when I buy, this is another kind of hobby side of it. Whenever I buy collections, a lot of people will have them organized like this, and I love looking through like old collections and seeing how people had put together their collection, because you never know what you're going to get. Like, and these old flips, they're just so neat to see. Like, somebody took the time to put this in a flip. This is a 1903 V nickel, and he's got $10 on it. So I'm not familiar with my key dates on V nickels, but it's just interesting to see what people have priced. And you'll come across nice stuff too. Commemorative Booker T. Washington, pretty nice, has a lot of luster and some nice toning on it. And this stuff had come out of 2 different sets, 2 different collections I had bought, and I really just haven't had time to go through them and organize them. 5-cent shield nickels. I love the shield nickels. They're really hard to find in good shape. Walkers, common dates, but I just like seeing how people used to do their flips and stuff, and like everybody's different. I love seeing the different handwritings and how people put different coins up, common dates. Like, so I really haven't gone through this one that much. I just wanted to show you, but this is what I enjoy. Like, I just sit here and look through 62 quarter. There's a 67. This SMS means special mint set. 68, 40%, and and people will slab up anything. Like, I've seen brand new pennies slabbed up, but a lot of people, they'll put together penny sets all the way up until current day. Let's see if there's anything that stands out in here. Some barber quarters. He's got $5 on that. So this is what I really like. I need to go through this stuff, get my book out. Make sure you have a good coin book or currency book, and you kind of get an idea of what prices are going for. And we'll see what a couple of these are. Buffaloes. Yeah. So I enjoy that. I'm going to enjoy looking through this later. That just brings a lot of joy to me. Other stuff I really try to stay away from is newer modern coinage. There's not a lot of value in any of the newer stuff besides if you enjoy putting sets together. So if you want to put a set together, you kind of have to you got to play the game. You got to go buy the proof sets to get the special proofs version to put in the album. So this is a 2013 S, Kennedy. It's very nice. I mean, it's very reflective. It's very proof-like. I mean, it is a proof. So that's neat. But I don't really collect them. Like these, I'll put in a bag, and eventually I'll put a price on them to try to sell them real quick. But this gentleman had come out of like an uncirculated set because he was putting together a Kennedy set. So he needed a 1913 Philly, a 1913 Denver, a 1913 San Francisco. So a lot of people will buy all these sets offline, and they'll cut them up, cut them out, put them in their albums. Which I like doing that with older type coins or stuff like pre-64. I don't really do that with newer stuff, but a lot of people still do, and I mean that's good. I'm glad they enjoy the hobby and it gives them something to do. and down the road it will be worth something. But right now, these Kennedy half dollars, they're unk, but to me they're just face value a little more, like they're 50 cents. So I'd hate to put much more than that on it to try to sell it, because I know you can go to the bank and buy a bag. You can buy a whole bag of Kennedy's half dollars, and you can probably get 3 or 4 of these in really good shape. So, and that's at face value. Now, one day you may not be able to do that. I know they get less and less in, and people are kind of hoarding them up a little more, but for right now, they're not really on my radar. I do have a bunch. I've got a couple bags of different stuff. They're slabbed up, but that's just something I really don't pay attention to. I've got too much to collect and other things I like to not keep up with that. But that's really it. I just wanted to kind of give you all an idea of how I collect and what I buy, and advice on what I would do. Just as long as you can buy it and you enjoy it and you can get your money back or make a little money down the road, I think you're doing good. Because I mean, it's silver, it's gold, it's copper. I mean, the metal, we're always going to need different metals for stuff. So I think it's a good investment, and it's a fun hobby. So I hope you all appreciate it as much as I do. Leave me some comments down below. How do y'all collect? I know a lot of people, they'll just collect Morgan dollars, and that is it. Like, they don't collect nothing else but Morgan dollars, and they've got a bunch. But I like to diversify a little bit. I mean, it seems like Morgans are hot one year, gold's hot one year, bullion's hot one year, peace dollars are hot, wheat pennies are fun. Everybody always wanting to search. So that's why I like to have a variety of stuff, because the wind changes all the time, and people get attached to different stuff. So the times changes. People like bullion, they don't like coins. People like stuff in cases. People like silver. People like gold. It's always changing. So I try to have a little bit of everything, but my main thing is Morgans, low mintages, higher condition coin, mint state coins, and have your stuff you just enjoy. I mean, I don't want to make a job out of it. I like having fun out of it too. So that's kind of what I do. But I really love it. I love it all. There's really not any of it I don't like. So just let me know what y'all think in the comments. I appreciate y'all watching and hanging out with me. It's a beautiful Sunday out here in eastern Kentucky. So I'm going to go outside and enjoy the weather. Y'all have a great weekend. Stay safe. Bye.